All right, it's that time of year where I am back on Radio Tech. This is a radio transceiver. It both transmits and receives. So this is the signal I want to send. Push that button, and that signal is sent and received. And this one in particular has a feature that is encoded. So once I send an encoded message, you get notified. So, um, the reason why I'm back on this project, and here's another one, and as you can see, this one received the message, no wires attached. The reason why I'm back on this is because of, where is it? That guy, that huge behemoth, the SOC. Basically, I am trying to compact this technology as best as I can. Let's see if we can get a better look at it. There's a lot of stuff in the way. Welcome to my brain. Um, in a previous video, I did, oh, it's about to come into view. There it is, there it is, there it is. I built that and showcased this, the door. In the next video, I'll be showcasing some other things. But I had to just touch on some of this radio tech. Um, so in the radio tech, I've been pushing more and more. The one you just saw is a 4-tick transceiver. It's kind of slow. It uses 4 pistons, and but it reliably transmits the signal without too much interference. And I'm trying to make it faster. The other one is a high frequency um, transmitter, and basically it detects anything that's adjacent to a redstone circuit or is a redstone block on a, let me see if I can find something that isn't a part of a circuit. Here we go. This isn't a part of a circuit. So if I was to put a piston, an unactivated piston, oh wait, is that still a part of a circuit? Huh. Yeah, one up, and there we go. I guess it's still close enough to this to activate, because usually a piston doesn't activate. But if I take a repeater, for instance, I can change it, nothing will happen. But if I place it, something does happen. Because it's like checking for updates, and this thing detects it. Or redstone updates, and it detects it. So what I will be going over briefly is this transmitter. Oh, sorry, not a transmitter. This is a receiver. The transmitter is anything redstone, and in this case is anything that the player can control to interact with a redstone circuit, namely a piston, dispensers is what I like to use in this case, and I'm going to go through a couple of these things that I've been discovering with this. So this receiver, and I'll put something up for people to see how it's built, picks up these signals and sends it in as fast a frequency as 2 ticks. Placing that, and now to see the 2 ticks, there you go. So it's really, really sensitive. So if you have a lot of players around and they're placing stuff, this thing will be like firing off non-stop. But ultimately paired with that other 4-tick transceiver, I believe a circuit can be made better by waiting for a time of stability, having systems built to kind of speak on this network to be like, oh, a large amount of data is about to come through and we want it to come through as quickly as possible. So other Redstone enabled things can pause briefly so that, you know, you're able to send everything as quickly as possible. And this thing will send it all in binary as fast as Bedrock would be able. So some of the um, uh, receivers, um, or at least the memory storage part of the receiver, I've been developing further, have been dropper based or hopper based. Um, and I'm finding certain bottlenecks, so this isn't a complete thing yet. This one I've noticed, for instance, as signals come in, it's spotty where items would fall. And basically how this one operates is the signals, like the first signal, would come in to trigger this. It's basically a butted circuit, but it fires 8 ticks afterwards, after this has been triggered. This only activates the first dropper here when a signal comes through, whereas the 8 ticks are always rhythmic. So as they're firing, the 8 ticks come in and should theoretically move all the items through these hoppers as they're being dispensed, right? But that doesn't happen. I got 12 items in there, and nothing is in here. Basically, it all recycles. And if I was to send a signal, and I will use this over here to send a signal, which would be the activator bit, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 bits later, all with one redstone tick space in between. You can see them firing there, but it all just clears. Nothing comes down. Um, uh, Droppers really don't work how you'd think they would work. However, hoppers, funnily enough, do work fairly well. And in this case, I may end up going with hoppers. Once I did this experiment here, and I'll deactivate this, you can see as these 8 ticks, so this is not connected to this in any working way. I just piggybacked it just to get those 8 ticks inverted here. You'll see items will flow evenly across here. I imagine if I can control the dispensing of an item here, items will flow and my circuit would theoretically be smaller, and I would just have the items circle back around and so on and so forth. So check this out. I can just fire this again. And as you can see, it within that time, it filled all of it, like steadily releasing, because hoppers take four ticks to move an item. So every 2 flashes, which is a flash on, 1 tick, flash off, 2, and so on. Every 2 flashes, i.e. 4 ticks, an item can move, and we're getting 8 flashes out of here. Technically, this is like a 16 tick flash that happens. So, or 16 tick flash that happens, and out of that you get 8 pulses out of it, I should say, not flashes. Um, but yeah, and then this thing can, once system is controlled, you can see, I'll just trigger it like this. It fully clears um, the registers as well. So I imagine each signal would be stored, and then as a new signal would come in, that would be then filled, registered, affecting whatever circuit to get my hex output as quickly as possible. Now, what else, what else, what else? So moving on from here, I built this thing here to basically use storage as data, um, so that I would just be able to fill chest upon chest of various data that I'd like to send. And in this case, I would have my activator bit as well as these 4 bits that follow. This thing is set up with a 4-tick loop because, again, hoppers are the bottleneck here. So all the redstone associated with it needs to aid in that in some way. And you can see the 4 ticks represented by the repeaters here. This helps to stop this clock from happening. This helps to release items in time to be read, as this is depowered by this comparator here. This is providing at least 1 signal strength so that only a solid, a non-stackable item, I should say, will be detected. And as you will see coming over here, I'll try to flip this switch, which this will release it, and then turn on this torch, activating this, but also locking this hopper so that the items don't, go on an infinite loop for your message. And I imagine with a little bit of a change here, I could use a chest instead, because the system is still pretty much the same. Every 4 ticks, an item is passed in, and this helps to meter the exact tick the item is being passed through and read to dispense and undispense and undispense this powdered snow here. So keep an eye on the repeaters there. Our signal is basically 10110. Oh, and you should see it with 3 ticks in between. Again, every 4 ticks. That's off, and there it is. And luckily it lands within the 8 pulses or 16 ticks for these flashes. So I imagine with a system like this, paired with something like this, I could get something smaller, but unfortunately it's still about as slow as the previous system. I've just theoretically compacted it a little bit further using hoppers. Um, and I guess hopper registers. So now moving on to this thing that I've been demoing for a while. Let me stop this. And as you can see, the other thing that I noticed about this is somehow the data gets jumbled. I'm not fully sure why that's happening. Since everything is pretty solid as the items are moving tick by tick. But for some reason, occasionally, they do get jumbled. However, I placed this right here for that very reason, so I'm closer to the source, and each item is being read when it should be. But, I'd like to find a solution for that. So, at the very least, you can feed the data back into the storage system. I've cleared that memory. Now I'm moving stuff to be prepped for the next time. And then I do this to lock it. And now it would be ready to go again. Alrighty, so this thing here. Um, why did I make this? I guess I wanted something that would allow me to put in the data that I want, but would also activate. I don't care whether the powder snow is deployed or not. I just need it to have a block to redstone interaction to trigger that thing. So there has to be a tick in between. However, this is technically faster than this. The thing that I would need to figure out with something like this is, one, yes, trying to compact this because I am not a fan of this at all. If it would even be possible to catch that signal somehow, and I will explain why this is here in a second. Um, but as you can see with this, we get a nice smooth um, 10101010 signal coming outputting from that with the added space if I deem it, but um, it it can activate dispensers, which seem to be the fastest item moving thing in the game, because it basically properly moves this powdered snow as it should. As you can see right now, this would be 5 interactions with the thing, which should keep it off. And if you look over there, now it'll be on. And as you see over there, you're getting a proper spacing. And now, let's set this thing up. We got this. Now, a fancy bedrock trick to help line up items is to face a dispenser into a block. Oh, and I want this. I'm not sure if this does anything, having that there versus a block, but I know this does something. And I'm going to pull an output from here. And as you can see, oh yeah, that doesn't do anything. And as you can see, this dispenser will be powered, and the one below here will be powered as well. The next thing I will do is, before I fire this thing, is slow down the game. Will it pop up? No. Alright. Command random. Game tick. 4,000. Should be enough. Now, things are gonna move real slow, but technically, extremely fast. This thing works by sending a signal. Those two power. This thing is released, sending a signal to the very next tick. There's a space. The next one goes, and so on and so forth. Items can come out of here and slide across. Right now they are about, so like poppers pull right here. Oof, no. I don't think I'd be able to catch them. I needed to slow down by like another tick. So this was one idea. These are fallen. um, they're falling a long way, and I'm not sure if there would be a way to catch these because they are evenly spaced and predictable. Um, but you know, that is another thing I'm thinking about. Um, but yeah, I'd like, you know, anybody else's ideas if you're looking at this and you find this as an interesting project. um, I will share with you everything I know. But other than that, that is where I am at with radio testing. Um, you know, uh, this is my redstone world, so uh, hope it's not too much for you. But yeah, deuces.